preparation for the month of Ramadan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us barakah and blessings in the remaining days of Rajab and Sha'ban, and allow us to witness the beautiful and blessed month of Ramadan. I want to begin with this hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that has been reported in Sunan al-Nasai from the authentic narrations. The Nabi of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that the month of Ramadan has come to you, meaning while speaking to the Sahaba, while the month of Ramadan had drawn near, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam turned towards his companions, towards his Sahaba, and he said that the month of Ramadan has come to you, a blessed month in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the exalted, the majestic, has obligated for you its fasting. So remember that we need to fast, meaning he's getting his Sahaba ready for the month of Ramadan. Then further saying, Rasulullah further mentioned and said, in it, the gates of Jannah and paradise are opened, and the gates of Jahannam, the hellfire, are closed, and the rebellious devils, shayateen, are chained. In it, there is a night Allah has put which is better than 1,000 months. And whoever is deprived of it is truly deprived. So this is an introduction that Rasulullah ﷺ gave his Sahaba for the month of Ramadan. Number one, the Nabi of Allah ﷺ, mentioned the blessedness of the month of Ramadan. And number two, he mentioned the faraiz and the obligation of the fasting of the month of Ramadan. He mentioned the fadail of the doors of Jannah being opened. He mentions the doors of Jahannam being closed as fourth thing. The fifth thing he mentioned in this hadith was the devil and shayateen that are evil are chained and the believers are protected as fifth. And number six, Rasulullah ﷺ mentioned that there is a night which is known as the night of Qadr, Laylatul Qadr, that all should look and really try to achieve that night which is better than 1,000 months. And seventh thing Rasulullah mentioned, the one that is deprived of all of these blessings is truly a person who's deprived. This is the hadith of An-Nasai. Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali, the great scholar in Islam, in the commentary of this particular hadith mentions few things. And I want to read this to you. Ibn Rajab rahmatullah alayhi says that some of the scholars have mentioned that this hadith is a basis to congratulate one another on the arrival of Ramadan. When Ramadan comes, it is okay to congratulate one another. Mubarak that the month of Ramadan has begun. Ibn Rajab mentioned this, that on the basis of this hadith, to congratulate one another on the coming of the month of Ramadan is an acceptable action. And then he says, why? He further says, why shouldn't the believer congratulate when the gates of Jannah are open? And why shouldn't the sinners be congratulated when the doors of Jahannam are closed? Meaning it's a win-win situation for everyone when the month of Ramadan begins. And why shouldn't the intelligent be congratulated for a time when the devil is chained? Meaning you have access to so much khair in your life. And how can, and Ibn Rajab mentioned this and I'll conclude with this, he says, and how can this time, meaning the time of Ramadan, be compared to any other time that Allah has given us? Meaning when so much of good has gathered in one place together, then how can we ever let go of the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So the month of Ramadan, brothers and sisters, is coming very close to us. Few things to keep in mind, inshallah, not only just physically fasting, but spiritually, mentally, socially, physically, getting ourselves ready to fast for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not only abstaining from food and our lusts and desires, but from everything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stops and forbids us, we need to stop for the rest of our lives. Everything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to adapt in our lives, we place that in our own lives. So preparing ourselves for fasting, preparing ourselves for Jannah and paradise. One of the most continuous dua of the Prophet ﷺ in the month of Ramadan was, "Oh Allah, protect us from fire and allow us to enter Jannah. Allahumma ajirna minan nar," as continuously was the dua of the Prophet ﷺ. Also to remember that every intelligent person should take the benefit of the month of Ramadan as the devil is captured. Do as much as you can. It's going to be the least amount of efforts from shaitan upon us. It's only us and our nafs. that needs to really fight and do as much as we can to work upon our own self. We have no shaitan and devil to blame except for ourselves if we're not able to really accomplish. So, as this hadith is a reminder for all of us that the blessings of the month of Ramadan are so many. Let's prepare ourselves in all aspects of our lives to truly benefit from the month of Ramadan. May Allah make it possible and allow us to make this coming Ramadan the best Ramadan of our lives, inshallah. Subhanallah wa bihamdi. Subhanakallah.